West Bromwich is out riding again on that electric contraption, my friend. He's got a camera mounted on his brim, filming content for his channel on a whim. He's just a Midlands cowboy on a battery-powered horse, making his video fortune on a different kind of force.
Right, good afternoon folks. It's Sunday the 19th of March and we're just heading up West Bromwich Street, and I just thought we'd take a look at something that I've touched on in a few videos now, and that's the amount of pubs that we've lost in the area over the last few years. So this area is not as popular as it used to be since the opening of the new square shopping centre. As I've said, in front of us you can see the boarded up area with overgrown trees and bushes. And this used to be the site of the Star and Garter public house. And the pub operated throughout the 20th century and was a very popular town pub for many years. It was a Mitchell's and Butler's pub and had a bar and lounge areas, and a function room, a pool room. But towards the end of its life, it became notorious for gang and drug related crime, and it finally closed in 2016. It was demolished a few years later. And there's currently planning consent in place for apartments to be built on the site. But this hasn't happened yet. Now, for many years, the barman worked in the pub by the name of Frank, and he was a friendly, popular chap who was held dear by many of the regulars in the pub. He got a very good memory. He could remember most people's drinks, when they'd chopped drinks, where they'd been, where they worked. And Frank not only worked in the Star and Garter, but he worked in several pubs around West Bromwich. So the building in front of us with the scaffolding around us is the Sandwell pub. Now, this was originally the site of the Birmingham House, which was built in 1851. And the present building has been here since 1895. The pub changed its name to the Goose and Granite in the early 2000s. It was never a really very popular name for the pub, and after a £90,000 refurbishment in 2017, it had its name changed back to the Sandwell. I have got fond memories of celebrating my 21st birthday with a party in the first floor function room. I think I can remember most of what happened that night, but did have a few drinks. So now we're making our way down the high street. And we're going to stop in a short while. A few parked cars in our way. So the building you can see in front of us with the Angel sign on it used to be the site of the Anchor pub, and can't find much history out about the Anchor pub, but it was a popular local pub, high street pub, well known for its music of a weekend. But in its later years it was plagued by problems, including drug use and gangs attending it, so it closed its doors in around 2004-2005. As I say, now you can see it's a gentleman's club. By its blacked out windows, I think I need to say no more. You're just going past the post office that used to be on our right hand side. For a few years it was a pub called the Post Office. High up, it's all kicking off. here in West Bromwich yet again. So after nearly being run over by a police car, we're making our way down the high street, trying to avoid the potholes. Some you can, some you can't. And we're just coming up to our next lost pub. So just bear with me a second while I negotiate the roadworks and leave the road. Okay, so in front of us you can see a convenience store named Strollers, and above it you can probably see a sign saying Strollers, your local community pub. Now it was only Strollers for a very short while, but the pub was better known as the New Hop Pole for many years, and the Hop Pole had been here since around 1880, and it was once a Mitchells and Butlers pub, but it was swapped to Courage in the 1990s. The pub featured a large L-shaped bar and lounge area with a small rear snug, and again the pub was very popular in the 60s, 70s and 80s, becoming less popular towards the end of the 1990s, and after the pub changed its name and various different managers running it as Strollers, it finally closed around 7 or 8 years ago, and then was redeveloped into Strollers and Provisters on the ground floor and apartments above it. So another one bites the dust. So in front of us you can just see the edge of the Shaftesbury Casino, which used to be guest mounted years ago. And next door to it you've got the Wheat Sheaf. Now the Wheat Sheaf, or the Wheat as it's affectionately known by locals, it's an Oldens pub, and it's one of only 2 pubs still open on Carter's Green, and it was an extremely popular pub up until 2017, when Oldens closed the pub and refurbished it, turning the pub into one large room. And a lot of the locals who've been using the pub for years, excuse the noisy car, a lot of the locals who've been using the pub for many years said that it just hadn't got the same atmosphere because you'd lost the small bar and the rear lounge area, so it's not as popular as it used to be. It's no longer open 7 days a week all the time. It is occasionally open 7 days a week, but it's in fits and starts. It's mainly open Wednesday through to Sunday. Still very popular with people of a Saturday night for its live entertainment. So yeah, at least it's still going, that's the main thing. There's only 1 or 2 pubs now on Carter's Green that are still going. You can probably see in front of us a shop which at the moment's got the shutters down because it is a Sunday, and this is Decron, which is a decorating store. Now the first shutter nearest to us has always been Decron, but then the further 3 going back used to actually be a pub called the Oddfellows Arms, or again to those that frequented it they used to usually call it the Oddies. So it was a popular pub here on Carter's Green, and for many years it was classed as a bikers pub because of the amount of motorcycle riders that used to use the pub. It was a popular music venue, especially at weekends, but again, alas, in 2008 the pub closed, and in 2009 Decron purchased the building to save the building and extended their showroom. So at least the building's still being used, but it's no longer a pub. So yep, you can see the theme, can't you? Another one bites the dust. Right, we're on Carter's Green, and in front of us you can see a shop and a grill. Now the building's looking a bit tatty to say the least now, the paintwork and whatever, but for many years this was the Marksman pub. Originally, before the Marksman, it was called the Cross Guns, but most people remember it as the Marksman. And it was a popular pub here on Carter's Green. I used to frequent it when I was younger, and it was known over the weekend for its lively discos that when late night licensing came about, went on till 12:30, 1 in the morning. It was very popular, but it did lose its popularity towards the end of its life. It was chopped in half, and the right hand side was the pub, the left hand side wasn't used, but then finally in 2013 it closed altogether. So there we go. So in front of us, this is the second pub that's still open on Carter's Green, and it's the old Oddfellows, or since the closure of the new Oddfellows, a lot of people just call it the Oddfellows. And it is open 7 days a week. It is one of the oldest pubs in West Bromwich, and it's apparently haunted. Although we are told it's not haunted by the current gaffer, Bert. We often wonder. The pub offers a range of real ales, with the choice constantly changing. It's also got mainstream beers and lagers on sale, and I often enjoy a pint of Madry in there. Now, back in 1986, the pub became part of Holt, Plant and Deakin's range of pubs. What is it with noise today? Excuse that motorbike. As I say, in 1986 it did become an Holt, Plant and Deakin pub, but then when Holt, Plant and Deakin closed down the brewery and its pubs, became a free house, and it's now run by Admiral Taverns. The pub itself actually dates back to 1867. In the summer, if you like a nice drink and sitting outdoors, it has got a rear garden, and in the winter it's got a log fire inside where you can sit and have a walk. They have a competition at the moment for noisiest exhaust in West Bromwich. Right, so we're just making our way through Carter's Green, and I'd just like to apologise for all the interruptions and noise on the video. I can't be held responsible for noisy exhausts on motorbikes and cars, unfortunately. But yeah, Sundays used to be known as a peaceful day. Not anymore if you're in West Bromwich. So the building you can see opposite, surrounded in scaffolding, used to be the halfway house, and if you can see on the right hand side in the front of Old Meeting Street, you can see some newer brickwork. That used to be the garden and conservatory of the halfway house, and the old building is now being converted into apartments, including the pub. The old signage is still there, but not for much longer. And the halfway house had stood here for many years, and it never reopened after COVID. Did open for a few short weeks, but people weren't going in, and it closed, and the owners decided to sell it off, and it's now been turned into flats. So no longer a pub in Old Meeting Street. So you can probably see in front of us a block of apartments or flats, and this used to be the site of another pub, and this pub was called the King Edward VII. It was an Ansell's pub up until 1984, when it became a free house, was turned into a pub restaurant, but that never really took off. So it reverted back to a pub, which was popular with younger clientele because of its music. And after that short-lived reprieve, the pub closed, became home to squatters, and it was finally demolished in 2006, which ended the era of there being a pub on the corner of Old Meeting Street and Church Lane. Right, well, a little bit quieter, so I do apologise for the noise, but there we go. Out of my control, unfortunately. Well, I hope some of the brief history I've given you the pubs there that we've lost in the High Street and Old Meeting Street are of interest. Sure, if you dive online you can find out a lot more information than I've been able to give you. Otherwise this video would have gone on forever and a day. And it's just a small snapshot of the amount of pubs that we've lost in West Bromwich over the years. We've lost many more in the High Street that I can't remember that were about before my time. Those are just ones that I remember. So hopefully you've liked the video. If you have, please hit the like button, hit the notification bell to find out about upcoming videos, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please subscribe. It gives me some incentive to make more videos. So until next time, folks, I say take care and watch how you go. Bye now.